All right, time for Sanity Petty. Alyssa, Sanity Corner or feeling petty this week?
I don't know what you'd call it. Maybe a sanity corner. Let me just say, I am enjoying the little snippets coming out of Trump's trial. Like, he's showing up, and I want to say like months ago, weeks ago, whatever it was, I was talking to Pfeiffer, and we were like, Alyssa, what's the one thing you would do if you were Trump? And I'm like, 100% news conferences before or after I walk in. Like, they're campaign events. It's genius. But you guys, he's literally going to court because he doesn't trust his lawyers. And like, he maybe shouldn't, because this was delicious. He was getting all bent out of shape because he was denied a jury. He's like, this judge doesn't like me and I don't have a jury. Maybe because his lawyers forgot to check the box asking for a jury. What? Like, it is watching every time they pan, like when they do a photo spray or whatever of what's going on in the court. It is like The Office meets Parks and Rec meets an episode of Veep. I mean, Letitia's just sitting there looking like cool as a cucumber. I have set this up. This is playing out exactly as I hoped. Trump is sitting there with the worst posture.
I know.
He's got the worst posture. His hair is overly styled. He's got a full wave going to the side, meaning someone's blowing that shit out with a round brush every single morning before he goes to work. And I just am enjoying it. The look on the lawyer's face when the judge was like, yeah, it's because your lawyers didn't check the box. Look, I have IBS. I've seen the look. She had the look. She gave us the look. So anyway, that was my enjoyment. The Republicans have really been giving us a lot this week. In general, it's a sanity corner for the ages. The week of October 7th or whatever this is, 3rd, 4th, whatever.
Oh man, I love the trial is just full of colorful characters.
Yeah,
bad for America, but funny.
Yeah, bad for America, but
funny.
we've earned these moments of levity.
Yeah, and you know, a couple months ago, I posed the theoretical or the hypothetical: who would you want to see least coming to your front door? It was like Tish James, Ronan Farrow,
also bad.
Yeah, I think Tish is definitely number one at this point. I would not want to see her coming to I would be like, I don't know you. What?
That means she already has everything in place, and you're going down.
Yeah, she's ready.
Okay, so I have a sort of like sanity corner / I feel petty. It's just such a weird story, and I don't know what draws me to it, but I want to talk about Katy Perry's fight over a $15 million compound and the law that might be named after her because the allegation is that she took advantage of this old man. Okay, Katy Perry is currently in a legal battle with the family of the founder of 1-800-Flowers.
This is my first time hearing all of this, so I'm very intrigued.
Okay. So basically, Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom, who I like every time I learn they're together, I'm like, what? Oh,
every time it's like hearing it for the first time.
Yeah, it's like Legolas plus teenage dream, like whipped cream boobs. Like that doesn't, it's like, okay. So basically Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom purchased this $15 million Montecito like estate in apparently 2015 or 2020. And, but the family of the guy filed suit to stop the real estate transaction because they said that he is like old and didn't know what he was doing. So they claim, this is from a Jezebel report, it claims that Carl is the guy that sold the property, was not in the right state of mind to sell his new home when he signed the deed over to Perry and Bloom. He'd just gotten back surgery and was on prescription opiates. And he'd also been suffering from some cognitive decline because he had Huntington's disease. And he'd only just bought the house 2 months earlier and planned to live in it forever, according to the family. So they sued Perry and Bloom to stop the deal. And then the couple countersued. The trial began last Thursday, and Katy Perry is expected to testify. Now, there is a new law being proposed called the Katy Perry Act. Quote, the Katy Perry Act addresses the risks of elder financial abuse, especially as it relates to property and real estate transfers.
Oh, it's against her.
It's against her.
But her name is...
Yeah, the Perry Act stands for Protecting Elder Realty for Retirement Years. And it has the backing of 38 bipartisan state and local politicians in California, according to its website. The goal is to keep anyone over the age 70 at least 50 yards. No, I'm just kidding. I'm reading the Jezebel article. So it basically makes a 72-hour grace period for certain real estate transactions where the person can be like, oh, wait, no, like they can claw back and think about it, especially if they're like an older person. So yeah, it's just like very funny to me. And also Katy Perry has always seemed like a fine person, like a lovely person. And I liked Teenage Dream. Thought it was a really good pop album. But it is really funny that she was like kind of one of the pet pop stars of like the Hillary Clinton campaign. She was like poised to be singing the national anthem at the inauguration. Like there's all of these things were lined up. And then I think in 2016, when everything went sideways, Katy Perry kind of lost her marbles.
Yeah.
Right? Because didn't she endorse Rick Caruso?
Yes.
Right? For mayor in LA?
Yeah. She did. It seems like a screw got knocked loose and it did not ever get knocked back.
No, she didn't find it.
She didn't find the screw that got knocked loose. So yeah, that is, I don't know, it's just like a fascinating story of Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom trying to steal a mansion from like an
it's icky. You don't do things to old people.
Yeah. At the same time, they did kind of have a really charmed existence in the U.S., right?
Yeah.
It's okay to steal from baby boomers. No, it's not. It's not. Don't do it. Okay, Shaniqua, are you feeling sanity corner or petty?
I'm feeling really petty. So I've enjoyed all of the drama with McCarthy and Trump and his court case, but we have a Black woman in the Senate again, and we haven't had one since Kamala Harris became vice president, and it's just really been overshadowed. I mean, obviously there are people paying attention to it, probably especially Californians who, Dianne Feinstein passed away. Was that last week?
I don't know. What's time? Okay. Who knows what time is and how long it takes?
Passed away last week. And so, her seat needed to be filled by Gavin Newsom, and he chose Laphonza Butler, who I guess now we can say previously was running Emily's list. But, she's only the third Black woman to be in the Senate, and that feels really historic. And it just hasn't been at the top of the conversation. It just kind of feels like history doing what it does, where you have men, in this case, 2 white men, who are just taking up a lot of airtime with their nonsense. And we're not focusing on this historic thing that just happened. And
I feel like the same thing happened with Justice Jackson.
Yeah.
Something happened right after she was sworn into the Supreme Court. And it was like, it just sucked all the oxygen.
Oh, that happened. Yeah. This is not the same at all. But it even made me think about Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff winning their election on January 5th in 2021. And it's like, can we enjoy nice things that are historic? Georgia elected a Black man and a Jewish man, and then the next day crazy people stormed the Capitol, and that just completely got overshadowed. So that's, I'm sick of seeing stuff like this, but I guess I just talked about her. So
I guess every time a good thing happens that you're excited about, you should short the stock market. Because the hedge against
something's coming. Something is
coming. Something is always coming, and it's usually like within 3 days, and you're great.
You don't have to wait long.
Well, what are you most excited about with Senator Butler?
She's someone who comes from a labor background. I'm just excited to have, and I don't want to reduce her down to representation, but there are no Black women in the Senate, and it means that there's like a perspective missing. And I don't mean that she represents the interests and beliefs of all Black women, but to not have anyone in there, that's been hard for me to just kind of see, because a lot of other groups are making progress. Look, the Senate's still not diverse, like point blank period. But to see other groups making progress and having representation and just someone to kind of speak to their issues, it's hard as a Black woman to not see that. And so, again, she doesn't speak for everyone, but I think it's good that she is just there. And seeing the picture of Kamala Harris swearing her in, I'm not someone who will say the world is great and right because we have representation and like there's, moving photo ops, but those things still do matter. And it, is nice to see happen. And I don't mean for this to sound mean, because Senator Feinstein did pass away, but California now has a present senator.
Senators.
Yeah.
Although she is a registered Maryland voter, so
that there's, yeah, I have.
She's not perfect.
I have lots of thoughts. I was going to start this with that caveat. I was like, I know people have lots of feelings, and my first thought when I heard that she was selected was, does she even live in California? But all that aside,
I think people kind of have accepted how ridiculously disproportionately white men are represented on Capitol Hill. They've just like accepted it. And I think if it was actually representative of the whole U.S. population, there'd be like 13 black senators.
Yeah.
And there'd be like 25 Latino senators, and it would be half women.
Yeah.
But
it's just not.
It's just not at all.
Yeah.